Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here, for coming back, or for joining for the first time, whatever it may be. Today we are again discussing a very important case. Lily Sullivan, who just turned 7 years old, Jack Sullivan, who turned 5 years old in October, but were 6 and 4 when they went missing. Last seen May 1st, 2025. Reported missing May 2nd, 2025. Garlic Road, Lansdowne, Nova Scotia, and there is a $150,000 reward. And many of you joining here today, of course, know exactly who we're talking about. Yeah. Very important case taking place right now, not only here in Canada, but recognized around the world. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for being here. We'll start up at the top and work our way down. April, thank you so much. Ginger, Angelina, thank you. Gaspe, Gal, Camilla, and I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Pretty name. Mildred, thank you. Joyce, thank you. Damien, thank you. Cheryl, Nurse, thank you all. Darlene, thank you. Lori, Nova Scotia, thank you. And Strawberry Wine. I remember that song. Strawberry Wine. Yes. Please use in my opinion, allegedly in your comments. We gather facts and respectfully hypothesize, collaborative and speculative on true crime cases. Let's have some fun. Yes. Sometimes, you got to throw a little bit of fun in there when you're discussing these type of topics, right? Um, yeah, I hear you, strawberry wine. So we better get into it because I'm on a time crunch. My company is coming today, although it's later today than usual. They are coming between 6 and 6:30. So, we should. The very first thing I do want to say is please notice the please bring me home information here regarding the search that will be taking place near the end of April. So, to participate, you see the email there. I'll show it again in the end. Please give your full name, phone number, emergency contact info. Um, Excuse me. And I will bring that back up again. There we go. Um, yes. Good reminder, Ginger. Oop. Thank you, Cheryl. In Canada, some cases have publication bans on victim names. Please respect the justice system and use Jane Doe for bans. Thanks, everyone. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Okay, so the first thing I want to do is show you. Now, when we get into the other topics, if you have any comments for me, try to save them until I'm done discussing it. I know you guys will chat amongst each other, but it's hard for me to catch up in the chat if I have to go way back. So if you can wait. Hi, Nova, stop. Hi, Lynn, stop. What am I stopping? Is everything okay? Mm. Hi, Lynn. I hope you're doing well. Um, yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is go over to Nick and actually, we're going to go over to I'll show you accident. Okay. I thought something was wrong. And I will show you the money there. We'll bring that up. Don't anybody send me messages right now, please. The only person you're going to see on the screen is me. um, yes. And ScreenYard has changed everything. So hopefully there's nothing too complicated. I hate when they change stuff and then they make it so dang complicated. Okay, so you can see there the 153.08. So that's the 150 I had already told you guys about that I said that will end up going to the school, which it did. And I'll just show you a little bit of the drive on our way to the school. And when my husband took me there to donate that and the jackets and the ski pants. And then the other below that is the 566. And we figured it was going to be between 5 and 6. So it's going to be just a little bit over 6 because there's also another $50 donation that was sent to the Buy Me a Coffee from Daphne. And then there'll be the money that I'm putting in to it. So I'm going to cover the taxes and plus put a donation in besides the taxes. So it'll be around probably between 6 and 7, all said and done in the end. So I just want to show you guys the amount there. You have to wait like it doesn't automatically show up like that. So as soon as the live is over, I can't go in and check that and go, oh, that's how much is there. You have to actually wait for them to come back with that, and depends on how long they take. So that is the final amounts. Okay, so we'll go to the other thing here. Um, Actually, I guess I'll show you my the trip to the school, and then I'll show you. Oh, how come that's not shown on there? I know I sent it to me. To me from me. Mm-mm. It's a video of us driving to the school. Why is it not showing? Maybe I have to refresh that. Just a second. No. Hmm. I don't know why that's not showing up on there. Hi Sue and Belinda, thanks for being here. Um, I know it's showing on my phone because I checked and it said it was sent. Yeah. Oh, no, it didn't. It said unable to send. Okay, well, I'll figure that out and I will show that to you guys on another day. Um, Not that it's that exciting, but there was something really cute that we did see on the way there, and I wanted to show it to you guys. It was so cute. Um, okay, so what I will do then is go over to Nick. I'll have to take that off and then put it back up. I don't know if you guys can make that out very well because, like I said, for some reason my screen looks blurry, but when I look back on the replay, it actually doesn't look blurry. So I'm assuming you guys can see it okay. I can make it bigger, I guess. A little bit bigger. Okay, so mm, it says, "Hi, Nick. It's Lisa from Novus Inquest. Yesterday, during my live stream honoring Sullivan, we raised between five to $600, and at that time, I was guesstimating because um, uh, YouTube hadn't sent me the tally yet of after they took their percentage. I'll have the final amount after YouTube takes their 30%. The intentions are to provide food and hot drinks for the search. My husband and I will purchase the food and drinks, then deliver it. If any remaining money, it will be donated to Please Bring Me Home. I was thinking sandwich trays, Superstore, Subway, and Tim Hortons tea and coffee, also snacks. Does this sound okay, or do you have some input as to what would be best? And then I'm going to play this, and I hope you guys can hear it. I've never done this before on here through StreamYard. Any issues hearing it, let me know.
Hey, Lisa, nice to hear from you. Leave it with me for a day and let me see what we have going on. I know there was a sandwich tray, I think, coming from Sobeys. That's as far as I know so far. So, um, give me a day to just figure out the logistics around all that, and I will let you know. Thanks a lot for that.
There you go. So there's a thank you from Nick. It's you guys that gave. I mean, I'm gonna give too. Um, and uh, you know, and Belinda, I'm on 2-day driving to PEI from Edmonton. Oh, drive safe, Belinda. Drive safe. I know you're going to be here for the search, and I will see you then if I don't talk to you again on here. Which I'm sure I probably will, but please drive safe. Um, yeah, so you guys heard that? You heard what Nick said? So he didn't get back to me yet. So that's fine. I'll just give him time there. There's stuff to work out with that. Um, did he did you guys hear him say about the sandwich tray? He said I think there's only we only have one sandwich tray so far from Sobeys or something like that. Um, hi Ariel. Um, yeah, so anyway, so I just wanted to let you guys know that, okay? I am in contact with him. We're getting stuff figured out. And yeah. Okay, so on to the next thing. Um, I got my trusty list here because of my lovely short-term memory notes. Reminder, guys, check to make sure that you are still sub and that you have it checked off all notifications. So you click on that little bell, and the very top one, I believe it's the top one, says all notifications. So check that out just to make sure. Um, and because there's been some issues going on. Um, just want to make sure. Okay, so Monday, you guys know what's coming Monday. Okay, yeah, all. You guys know what's coming Monday. So court again for Daniel Martell. I do plan on going, and so far I'm feeling okay right now. It's day by day with me, though. Sometimes, not sometimes, hour by hour, minute by minute, but so far so good. So yeah, so just to let you guys know, I do plan on going. And of course, my, reason for going is numero uno, Lilly&Jack Sullivan. Because as we know, there's many statistics that surround this missing case. Whether they wandered off and something happened in that sense, or whether something nefarious took place. Either way, statistics are involved here. We have a step parent. We have, you know, admission by Malaya um, in the media, in the documents. The documents which media discussed. Plus, we had the documents and went over it. But there was some concerns there with the DV, him shoving her and holding her down, taking her phone. All of that is DV coercion, coercive control. And so another statistic, CPS involvement, another statistic. I mean, I could go on and on. Rugs, another statistic. It just goes on and on. So, so of course, that is numero uno. And then of course the fact of supporting this victim who is a woman, so supporting the victim, supporting the women of violence. right? Um, so there's many, many reasons why I'm going, but mainly in support of Lily and Jack, and women. So women and children, children first, and women. um, yes. Hi, Cheryl. The second Cheryl. We'll call you the second because you were the second Cheryl to come into the chat today. If I missed anybody, my apologies. Um, thank you for being here. Old Garden Pal, thank you. Thank you for being here. Um, all right, so got those two things out of the way. The message from Nick, video going to school. Well, that didn't send for some reason. Maybe it's too long. It was only 9 minutes and something. I didn't think that would be too long, but I guess it is. Court on Monday. Um, there have been responses. It's the same response that goes out to everybody from the letters that were written to oh my gosh, I don't think it was the Administrator of Child and Welfare, um but you guys know what I mean. Um regarding the youth and child advocate, there was a response, and because I have to take the name out of that and I forgot, I apologize. What I will do is post it to the community so you guys can read it, okay? And of course, it's, you know what those responses are like, right? And in between those being written, um, was the little blurb that was on the news there about the $300,000, which is a complete slap in the face. If you guys did not watch my video on that, please watch it. Um, yeah, and we went through, um, yeah, what a great donation, yeah. We went through the population of Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick, and Winnipeg, and I mean, just the numbers and the amount of money that Nova Scotia was given is just disgusting. But anyways, so in between that and that little blurb on the news, those letters were put in, and anyways, no, and nobody that I'm aware of in the community even knew that that was on the news and that $300,000 was given, um, because of the way that they had presented it on the news. But anyways, yep. So those letters are coming back, trickling in. People are getting them. Okay, and the message from Nick, we did. Showed you the amount of the money raised. All right. So we're going to get to the two longer topics. Rcmp's procedure when it comes to DV. So not just a call for DV, but they're dealing with a case. There's suspected DV involved. And when they're dealing with DV, the procedure, what they follow to deal with it. We're going to go through that. And we're going to talk about Anita. So having said that, I will allow you guys to decide which topic do you want to go to first. Anita or Rcmp's procedure in dealing with situations of DV. Cases involving DV. April, thank you. Thank you very much. We'll go play our thank you song. Thank you. Songs are way at the bottom. You'd like to get it up there quick, but you scroll way down. Thank you. Thank you, April. Thank you so much. So sweet. That's probably a good idea. Lady A. Well, yeah, let's call her Lady A. I'm okay with that. Lady A. Lady A. Sounds like an old country song or something. Lady A, Lady A. Yeah, yeah, I would say. And hi, Tash. Yeah. Cha-cha, hi. Thank you for being here. Anybody I miss, thank you, thank you for being here. All right, yes, let us move on to, and it's information Ginger sent me. It is absolutely awesome information as usual. And, where the heck is my thank you thingamajiggy? There we go. Yeah, it's great information as usual. So yeah. So we'll do that first. Let me remove this. So the first part will be me reading through it. The second part has a video to it, which is kind of interesting. Well, how did we get back there? Okay. You guys can see that. Yeah. All right. I'll be over at the other screen. Okay. So I can see this. Just an FYI. Okay. So the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP, utilizes evidence-based tools and specialized units to address intimate partner violence, IPV, with VEGA, VEGA, violence, evidence, guidance, action. Resources playing a role in training and identifying abuse. VEGA provides national trauma-informed guidance to help service providers and police safely recognize and respond to IPV and child exposure to violence. Okay, before I start that, there was actually something I wanted to say, or before I continue. Does anyone remember my video I did find it, and I can pull it up if you want. But if I actually said it a few times in my videos, but this one specific video had stated, the title on it was, and you can actually go back and watch it because you'll see the title, and it says, "Why did Rcmp ask Malaya this one question?" And it was about the question they asked her, "Do you feel safe here?" And I have pointed that out and discussed that, in my opinion and in my knowledge, honestly, that um, that would be because they're noting something is wrong. Okay. And I had told you, Ginger, you remember, healthcare providers, police officers, um, you know, are trained to note certain things. And eventually you just get used to it, certain things. That you would prompt those questions. They don't just ask that for no reason. There's something that prompted them to say that. And it's a process. And I, had stated that they're starting the process of trying to, they're noting things that would lead them to suspect, possible domestic violence. So now they have to start the process to work with the mom of these children who are missing and the remaining baby, discussions. Okay. So they asked her, "Do you feel safe here?" So that's probably the first initiation in that process, right? So we'll continue. I was going to pull my video up, but just where we're pressed for time, I won't. But I mentioned it a few times in my videos, but there is one video specific that states, why did Rcmp ask this one question? Yeah. So we'll go back over to this. Okay, so Rcmp and Vega project integration, training, and education. Vega provides free online education modules such as recognizing and responding safely to intimate partner violence that are used by health and social service providers and aligned with policing responses. Okay. So now you guys understand what I was talking about previously. And that was very, very early on when I started picking up on stuff. And I've stated this before, like I was getting nasty messages, and a lot of people in the chat were upset, certain ones who are still in other chats and have come from there till now and understand why. I would hope they now understand where I was coming from, because they wanted evidence as to why I was saying that. And I, was saying it's through experience. That's all I can tell you. It's through experience and training. So, yeah, so such as recognizing and responding safely to intimate partner violence that are used by health and social service providers and aligned with policing responses to recognize abuse, including non-physical forms like emotional abuse or coercion. Guidance framework. The Vega sorry, I'm trying to read too fast and I shouldn't be doing that. Guidance framework. The Vega project, based at McMaster University, offers tools designed to help frontline workers in the community and justice system, including Rcmp officers, identify high-risk situations. Now, again, I talked about this before. Does anybody think that the situation they walked into and lands down. Okay, just put your thinking caps on. um, that they may have identified that as a high risk situation, that there might have been things they were picking up on. Um, Mandate. The RCMP acts to enforce laws, support survivors, and work with federal partners such as Public Health Agency of Canada, which funds the Vega Project to enhance responses to domestic violence. So, again, put your thinking caps on. If an individual, um, just in general, so because they're talking about healthcare providers, right? Um, it's information that's written right in here, so I'm not letting any cat out of the bag. It's easier for me now to talk about it because I'm reading it off of here. You have to be so careful of things you're discussing. Um, but in general, if a woman who was dealing with domestic violence and they ended up in hospital, does anybody think that those nurses, especially in certain wards or floors, whatever you want to call it, would be trained in those areas and take a certain approach to that woman? Just, just a question. Put your thinking caps on. Um, RCMP approach to intimate partner violence specialized teams. The RCMP uses domestic violence intervention teams, DVIT, in areas like Alberta, which combine police officers with agency partners to assess risk, create safety plans, and provide coordinated support to victims. And it's not that they don't do it here in Nova Scotia as well, but they're giving you an example. Um, Risk assessment and management. Police use specialized risk assessment tools to guide decisions, such as determining if charges should be laid, even in scenarios without physical violence. Community-based partnerships. The RCMP participates in the Family Violence Initiative, FBI, funding nonprofits and community organizations to improve support for victims and reduce incidents. Victim support, RCMP, victim victim support. RCMP victim services provide crisis intervention, referrals, and support to victims, including navigating safety planning. Proactive policing. In some jurisdictions, such as Penticton, always have an issue saying that, Penticton, BC, the RCMP is expanding. Not in my community, initiatives to focus on public education and bystander intervention. I feel like that would be such a good thing to have here in Nova Scotia. Yeah. Contextual data on IPV. Sorry, guys, just give me a second. I'll get a drink. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Contextual data on IPV rising rates. Police reported intimate partner violence has increased in Canada by nearly 20% for both women and girls and men and boys from 2014 to 2022. And we also heard oh, can't remember his name, but he was the RCMP. Why do I feel he's an inspector? He was in the white shirt and he did the interview, and he's the one who discussed trafficking and domestic violence and stuff like that. And he discussed those statistics as well, and that was for here in Nova Scotia while he was discussing the Lilly&Jack Sullivan case. Okay, increased in Canada. Gendered impact. Women and girls account for 78% of victims of police reported IPV, and that's what's reported. And we also know there's a large number that's not reported, right? Prevalence in small communities. Research in areas like Cochrane. Yeah, like the singer, Cochrane. Cochrane, Alberta, has shown a recent significant rise in reported intimate partner violence, prompting specialized community-led research to stop violence. Implementation in Nova Scotia. The Vega framework is increasingly integrated into the province's broader response to gender-based violence. Professional training, Nova Scotia Health and Social Services Professional training. Nova Scotia Health and social service professionals, including nurses, physicians, and students, can access these resources for self-directed learning or accredited continuing education. Complementary programs. Vega works alongside local initiatives like the Violence Prevention and Impact Response VPIR program within Nova Scotia Health, which provides comprehensive training on identifying high-risk domestic violence. System readiness. A 2025 study highlighted that while programs like Vega exist, many Nova Scotia health providers still report a need for more consistent training to properly recognize signs of mental and physical abuse. Now, let me read that again. Because being from here, in Pictou County, just Nova Scotia, but Pictou County itself, I've right from the beginning discussed this, that it tends to live strong. That and addiction. Okay, there is an issue in in Nova Scotia, and it's worse in particular areas. And we know that Nova Scotia has the highest rate of trafficking as well in all of Canada, in compared to other parts of even outside of Canada as well. So, system readiness. A 2025 study highlighted that while programs like Vega exist, many Nova Scotia health providers still report a need for more consistent training to properly recognize signs of mental and physical abuse. Accessing Vega resources. And when you have such a high rate of something in an area, and then you read something like that, you have to kind of wonder, is that because those who are being trained are actually in those situations themselves and in denial of it. Does that make sense? Just a question. Accessing Vega resources, registration. Healthcare and social service providers can register for free access through the Vega Project website. Workshops, professionals seeking live virtual training can find schedules and registration for Vega workshops. Okay. Now we're going to go to, I think this is the one with the video. Yes. Ginger, if you want to put that, just one second. I'm going to pull up that website, the other site, the McMaster College. If you want to put that up there or put it in the chat, feel free. If you guys have any issues hearing, let me know, okay?
Hi, I'm Maria. I'm a family doc. I think I'm pretty compassionate. You know, I read the literature and keep up with what's new and the best practices for my patients.
And I'm Mark. I'm a social worker. It's important to support my clients and advocate for their needs. That's why I was so surprised when I became more aware of the huge impact of this one exposure. This kind of exposure is linked to all kinds of mental and physical health problems like depression, anxiety, alcohol, and drug use.
In children, it can affect how brains grow and develop and can lead to all types of problems across their lifespan. In adults, it actually increases the chances of heart disease, cancer, and other chronic illnesses.
It's not a toxin or a virus or a pollutant. It doesn't discriminate. It can affect everybody across all cultures, communities, and income brackets. The kind of exposure we're talking about is family violence. Family violence is a complex issue, and every Canadian family is susceptible. The numbers are staggering. About 1 in 3 Canadians has experienced abuse before the age of 15. A Canadian woman is killed about every 6 days by her current or former partner. We're becoming more aware that men are at risk as well. Transgender people have much higher rates. Over 60% reporting experiences of intimate partner violence, or IPV. You may know IPV as domestic abuse or domestic violence.
There are lots of different words used to describe family violence. With children, it's often called child abuse and neglect or child maltreatment. Another type of family violence is called children's exposure to IPV and involves a child hearing or seeing violence among caregivers or being aware of its effects without actually witnessing it.
Whatever you call it, research shows that physical, emotional, or sexual abuse and neglect can impact all aspects of a person's life, including how they learn, speak, behave, and interact with others.
When I read about family violence, I realized there was more to it, and I really needed to learn a bit more about this. I found a great resource called the Vega Project. Vega has created evidence-based guidance, a handbook, and innovative educational resources about recognizing and responding safely to family violence. It's the first time that national organizations, including nurses, dentists and dental hygienists, doctors, child welfare advocates, and a range of others, have come together to develop ways of helping people know how and what to say and do to help patients experiencing family violence. Also, what not to do. This type of violence is not always obvious. In fact, it's often hidden. Most importantly, I don't want to do more harm. To be honest, I didn't see this as part of my role. I basically viewed family violence as a personal or social issue best addressed with a referral to someone else. Obviously, if there was a disclosure of violence, I would address it, or if it was a child protection issue, I would report it. But in terms of my patient's own personal medical history, I didn't consider how these experiences of family violence could impact their health.
I know what you mean. Although I learned about family violence in my training, I didn't learn about the widespread health impacts or how best to respond. Vega has developed guidance so we can better navigate family violence and how it affects our clients and/or patients. It makes me better at what I do.
Exactly. When I didn't consider how family violence influences disease and behavior, it prevented me from effectively communicating with my patients. Now that I really think about it, maybe I avoided bringing these sorts of things up because I didn't want to make it worse or shed light on an issue I couldn't handle. I didn't know how to make it safe to address family violence in my day-to-day practice.
The Vega Project developed an approach called Recognizing and Responding Safely to Family Violence, which addresses those exact concerns. Now, I feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm less worried about causing harm. And you know what? This is relevant to all my clients, not just those affected by family violence.
Very true. It makes me think more carefully about the cases I find challenging. I used to ask myself, why would someone act like this? Now I try to be more compassionate. So instead of wondering what's wrong with this person, I think about what's happened to this person and start the conversation there. Vega's handbook helped me to respond to my patients, and now I understand how important it is to create both a physically and emotionally safe environment.
It's encouraging, right? And new evidence is emerging about promising interventions that can help both adults and children address the impacts of violence.
Knowing how to recognize and respond safely and what the appropriate referral pathways are creates a better experience for all of us. When this becomes a part of your everyday practice, your patients are more likely to benefit.
To make this part of your practice, start by looking up projectvega.ca. There you can find tips and tools like how to recognize the possible signs of abuse and ways of responding safely. Practical, evidence-based guidance.
The Vega Project is available to educate and support us to work safely and effectively with those impacted by family violence. Vega helps us provide the best possible care for our patients and clients.
Thank you, Ginger, again. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome information. Very well put. And I'm so glad you sent that to me. I was trying to be so careful before in what I was saying. You know, sometimes you just try to steer away from certain topics. And even though people are pushing you for, well, how do you know? How do you know? You just take that heat and move on because you don't want to say something that you shouldn't say. That explained everything perfectly. Thank you. Much appreciated. Now that training itself there, the Vega, I've never taken that, and I've been out of nursing for a while. As you guys know, I've been retired for a while now due to illnesses, but I've taken lots of other training. Lots of other training. But they're always coming up with something new and something better. Thank goodness. You guys hear me? Hi, Dottie. I hope you guys can hear me. Oh, Belinda believes. That's awesome. And hello, Shenanigans. Careful driving. Oh, good, you can hear me. Okay. Because for some reason I'm not showing on stage. I don't know why. Um, good, 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 good. Why am I not showing? There we go. Um, and honestly, I don't think what else is there to say? That was very explanatory. Very explanatory. And Ginger, I agreed with what you said, and how this is being discussed via these YouTube channels. We have to be careful, right? We have to be careful. Um, and I made it very clear that to me, I not only think of one parent in this case as a victim of what we just went over, which again, I'm not saying that's an excuse at all for, everything here that, with Lilly&Jack. I'm not saying that, but it's important to understand the cycle and how these things happen, because the only way to make change is to recognize certain things. Woman's Warrior, I put your comment up there, and thank you. And thank you for your commitment. Um, yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they are moving forward and they are starting to focus more on the perpetrator now than making the victim have to turn her life all upside down. They are now disrupting the perp life. Yeah. Um, yeah, and I had said before, both of these parents, I'm sure, right, have um the generational cycle. We've discussed that before here. Um yeah, I feel so sorry for Lilly&Jack. They are the ones who I feel so sorry for. Yes. Yeah, because again, right? It's just another phase of the next generation and that cycle. Yeah. In my opinion, Jack and Lily's behavior issues may have been signs of IPV. Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Break the cycle. Exactly. Exactly. But if you don't acknowledge it, right? How do you break it? You know? You have to. You have to acknowledge it. At least they reduced oh, you guys are talking about, yeah. Um and that's what, you know, is upsetting to me regarding the CPS being involved. We know that is a fact. I've played it here over and over and over. And we know that that's probably where that missing file went. The missing file that isn't missing. Um, and, but, these, those services, being a nurse, a doctor, officer, you know, we're all here to serve the public and assist them and help them. And again, I'm not laying blame and saying, that, oh, well, that mother was a horrible mother and CPS totally overlooked that. I'm not saying that, because sometimes it's just a matter of some education. It's like when a woman has a baby and they need some education on how to breastfeed, or they're not going to know how to breastfeed. When you know better, you do better. Um, there's lots of times that a mom needs help when it comes to parenting and parenting properly, and then especially if we're dealing with generational cycle of you know um, violence and family violence, um, and I feel that they missed the boat there. That it could have come down to being as simple as education and continued monitoring for compliance. That it could have been that easy, you know? Um, so that really bites me. That really does. And we just read it there, where professionals are saying, um, in Nova Scotia, and they specifically state at Nova Scotia that they need more, although they're educated, they need more education on how to deal with this. So, I mean, that tells you something right there. Um, take a look at some of your comments, and then we'll move on to Lady A. Uh, we'll start with Dottie. Thank you, everyone that looked for Jack and Lily. Thank you for your service. Oh, well, that's very nice to say. And they're going back out in the end of April, too. You're very level-headed and compassionate, Nova. Well, thank you. I am to Gaspé. No matter what, Malaya was responsible to protect her children. She was in 2 previous bad situations, and she got out of them. These were her little innocent children. Yeah, it's hard not to feel those feelings. I get that. I get it. Um, oh my God, poor sweet Lilly&Jack. It's beyond heartbreaking. They paid a horrible price for all the crap going on around them, or in my opinion anyways. Yeah. And I mean, we do, and just to note, we have no idea yet what took place here. We don't. Um, we know possibly they did wander off on their own. Um, Sergeant McCammon is doubting that from what he states in his last interview, they're likely not out in the woods, that there's probably a slight chance, I think is what he said, slight chance. And um, so, please bring me home. We'll be checking all those pathways. And he did mention that, unless they get down one of those pathways hidden in there somewhere. So that is going to be one of the main focuses with Please Bring Me Home. Nick already discussed that. And we'll see. We'll see what this brings. So that's still a slight possibility. And that's from the words of Sergeant Rob McCammon. And then we have possibly, were they abducted? Right? We don't know. Or did something nefarious take place? And if that's the case, who all is involved, right, on that property? We know there was 3 people for sure on the property. So keeping that in mind, right, that we don't know exactly what happened yet, but no matter what, in my opinion, eventually generational family violence, and a history, of couples getting together who have that issues on both sides of the family, a history of things there, abuse, whatever the case may be. Something is eventually going to happen, right? Something is eventually going to happen. And then you have things added on to that are getting worse. So now we have methane, right, in the picture, which we know is one of the worst drugs now, right? And causing certain issues, psychosis, insomnia, and, all kinds of bad stuff going on there compared to what was being dealt with years ago. So on top of that, generation after generation after generation, and you're thinking, well, something eventually is going to happen here, right? Because this cycle it's not being broken, and things are getting worse. So now you're getting the what's being used with addictions, right? Because before it might have been alcohol, right? Well, no, it's something different now, right? So yeah, eventually something's going to happen. And unfortunately, in this case, in my opinion, that seems to be what it finally took place, whether it be that they just walked off. Remember, DM said there's more to this case than meets the eye. Get ready for disturbing facts to be revealed. Yeah. I don't think anyone could be ready for that. Yeah, I agree. Our brains just don't want to, right? In September 2024, Nova Scotia officially declared intimate partner violence an epidemic. Yep. Yep. Social workers, especially children protection, should spend 3 months in DV services and with law enforcement when training and yearly refresher training, but in-person frontline is vital. Yeah, the in-person frontline workers is vital. Yes. Yeah. In my opinion, this case could have been solved months ago if people didn't lie from the beginning. Yeah, it's possible. Lots of lies going on to public anyways. I don't know, you know, if they were more truthful with RCMP or not. Nova Scotia has the highest rate of self-reported rates of intimate partner violence in Canada. Oh wow. Those are some statistics. Wow. Between 2018 and 2023, rural areas in Nova Scotia saw a 56% increase in violent crime, which often includes IPV. Yep. Yeah, and I believe that would have to do with the increase in the drugs that are being used. Yep. You were so right, Nova. Well, thank you. I'm not sure what I was right about, but probably everything. No, I'm joking. These individuals are never held accountable. That's part of the issue. Yeah. Yeah. Our laws. Yep. Not greatest. And cheap. Yep. Cheap. The methany. Cheap. And can be made at home if, if, you know, if worst comes to worst and that person, which they would really want that drug, yeah, they can do the shake and bake at home. Learn that through this case. Yeah, the Transition House Association in Nova Scotia reported supporting approximately 4,500 women and children in 2024, noting the increased severity of violence. Man, oh man. And how much do you want to make a bet? How much do you want to bet that many of those cases involve these drugs that are out now? Drugs. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, Pictou has some work to do. Yeah, it sure does. Pictou County, yeah. Alrighty, on to the next topic, because we only have a little bit less than an hour. All right. So let us discuss Lady A, shall we? So, excuse me. When I was on our last video, our last live that we did when we raised the money for Please Bring Me Home to go towards the search. It's green again. There we go. What is going on here? There. Yeah, when I was yeah, so during that live, I I I had noticed there was a lot of chat in the chat about Lady A. And Ginger, do you want to put her name in the chat so everybody knows who Lady A is? Um and if you don't mind. And so I was like thinking in my head, I was thinking that's kind of strange because nobody's really ever talked about her like to that extent in the chat, if ever, that I noticed. Um, if they were, I was probably bypassing it and staying focused on the topic or whatever. But I thought, gee, that's weird. And then somebody had asked me, and I think it was Belinda Believes, asked me what my thought on her was, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, why is everybody stuck on this today? Right? And I'm like, I'm trying to talk about Lily here. Lily had her joke yet, or her joke. You're joking, Dottie. Okay. Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. What a joke. Um, and Lily had her birthday the day before, right? And I just thought that was so strange. And yeah. So, anyways, my answer to Belinda, who was like, "What's your opinion on all of that?" And I was like, "Well, I haven't really heard." Basically, I said I haven't really heard anything from the horse's mouth, and not that I don't trust what there's certain creators you trust, right? I have a handful, right? They say, what do they say? Uh, you're five or whatever that saying is, right? But you usually have a few people that, are kind of on your trust list. But for me, I always have to make that decision on my own. And that's just how I am. Might be a nursing thing, right? So if I worked with the smartest nurse in the building and she never made a med error before, and she's like, the greatest nurse that I love to work with, my bestie at work. And she hands me a medication and says, that's for John Jacob. Can you take that down to him? The doctor ordered it today. Well, I'm not just going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to check for myself. That's just me. And it's not because I don't trust her or anything like that. But it's because I have to know myself. I have to figure it out myself, right? And be accountable, right? Because if I make a decision simply based off somebody else and I make a mistake in that decision, I can't turn around and say, well, so and so said it, so I just went by that, right? It's being accountable. So, not that I don't file things in the back of my head, but I'm not a people either, and I have to figure it out on my own. Sky Painter, hi, thanks for being here. Yeah, yeah. And anyway, so I was kind of explaining that, right? When Belinda had asked the question, Belinda believes, and I said, well, I haven't really heard from her. Like, I am looking at certain things, like some posts that I was reading and following things that were being said as best as I could. But still, I haven't heard from her. Well, little did I know that just before the live that I was doing that day, her and Mike were on together, Mike D. And I didn't know that. So I didn't know that until I come out of my live. I went and did supper. And then I went into Shan's live as a mod. And then Shan brought it up. And I was like, oh my goodness, that's why people were asking, talking about it in the chat and asked me my opinion, but I did not see it, right? I don't watch every single channel because it's too hard, right? So, like, you have your certain ones that you watch and you enjoy it, and those channels you enjoy and you watch them, right? So I had no idea, that had been on and that had all taken place. The first I heard of it was in Shan's chat. So I was like, oh, okay, that's probably why, right? That I was being asked, and it was being discussed so much in the chat. So still, though, I'm glad I didn't know and I didn't go there because that was all about Lily, and we raised some beautiful funds for the searchers and for the school, and that ended up being an awesome live. So anyway, so during Shan's, I seen part of it, where it certainly seemed they were both inebriated, one on alcohol, vodka, and the other on the Coca-Cola. And I kind of cracked a joke, like, it seems a couple of people you'd hear, and not that I go out to the bars because I don't. But I think I've been at a bar maybe once or twice in my life when I was way younger. And actually, it's the bar that I referenced that ended up getting a nickname. It's called Wranglers, but it ended up with the nickname Stranglers because of all the fights that took place there. Now, the Rcmp is the place where that goes on, but and that bar closed down, but then somebody reopened it and recalled it Wranglers, and it was moved to a different part of town, and the part of town it was moved to was a slight bit shady compared to the other part of town it used to be in. But I don't think it's so much a Stranglers anymore because now the Rcmp is just a little bit of Pictou County knowledge. Anyway, so I cracked a joke to Shan in the chat and said, sounds like a couple, I can't remember if it said a couple of drunks or a couple of inebriated people having a conversation as stranglers, right? Kind of a personal joke. But anyways, and because I knew Shan knew of stranglers. But, and then as it went on, I started realizing, like, oh my goodness, like, is he okay? Because, like, if I was the person on that live with an individual and they started behaving that way, like, I would be concerned. I would be like, are you okay? Like, are you sure you're okay? And I actually did know a YouTube creator. His name was Doug Kramer. Don't know if any of you guys heard of him. He did awesome work. He stood up for children of abuse. His very last live that he ever did, he had a guest speaker on who was in regards to trafficking. And I watched it. I watched that live. I loved his material. And he passed away after that live. He said he was coming back on the next day. He didn't come back on. His viewers who knew that if he said he was coming on, right? And they were concerned. But then the next day when they didn't hear from him, then they were really concerned. They were calling the police and asking for wellness checks, and the police wouldn't listen to them. They're just like, oh yeah, okay, it's a YouTuber. Maybe, they were getting comments like, maybe he went to visit his mother. Maybe he went on vacation. And they were like, no, you don't know what he's like. If he said he was coming on, he's coming back on. And if he can't, he would have let us know, right? Like, he's dedicated to his viewers. Anyways, long story short, finally, the police went and did a wellness check a few days later, mind you, and he was on, right? And he used to smoke like a trooper and puff on his green stuff, during his lives. Check him out. Doug Kramer. And he, what was the name of his channel? Anyways, what a guy. He was great. But anyways, he died, right? So I was kind of getting a little concerned there. I was thinking, oh my God, is he okay? Like, I've already seen this happen before. And then he wasn't on for a few days, right? And like, I watch his videos and I'm not subscribed, but I was even checking each day going, okay, he's still not on. Okay, and I think it was just probably some leftover trauma from what happened to the other man. But what happened to Doug, right? Just seeing that unfold, and it was just terrible. But yeah, so Anyways, having said all that, I did watch the whole video. After after I was modding for Shan, I watched the whole video because I thought, okay, so I can watch this now and hopefully gain some thoughts as to, what the heck is going on here. And so I did. I watched. And then I had somebody send me a message last night and they said, he's on again with her. And I was kind of happy thinking, oh, geez, thank God that he's alive. Like, first of all, like, already seen that happen before. Don't want to see that happen again. But, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know if I can watch it, But I thought, no, I will, because people are asking my thoughts. And in order to have the proper, in my opinion, I will watch it. So I did. Um, and anyways, guys, and the reason why I used regurgitate it in the title, in my thumbnail, is because, and I made the thumbnail as soon as I finished watching that video, because that's all I kept thinking in my head as I'm watching it. I'm like, this is just regurgitated. And there's really nothing new there. Everything I'm hearing is everything. It's alive. I even knew what tone to put with that. It's alive. You're funny, Ginger. Um, um, yeah. So I was, where was I? Ginger got me laughing now. Ginger, be good. Um, uh, yeah, I'm not hearing anything that we didn't already know, and which is pretty much what my thinking was before I ended up being able to catch her in 2 lives. But I just wanted to hold back on that first until to see if there was more to find out, to figure out. And I'm really not hearing anything that we haven't already discussed. Pretty much everything. It's all been discussed. So, oh yeah, that's what I was saying when I was watching the live last night. And I just kept thinking, like, this is all regurgitated. And then I even looked up the word to make sure, am I using that word correctly? And yeah, I am. So I thought, okay, I'm using that in my thumbnail. That's true. It's in my opinion that it's regurgitated. That's actually fact. Everything that I hear is stuff that we already know, which is fine. That's fine. That's, it's obviously stuff that she knows as well, and how she learned of it, that I don't know, right? And I don't know. It's really none of my business. I don't I don't think it matters, but she basically knows what we already know, so we all know it. We all know it. But she's discussing it. Um Now, which I guess for some people, if some people do not know all of that stuff that we know, because we've been here from the beginning and we've been very closely looking at everything and listening to everything and noting everything, and some of the stuff that we might not have known, we suspected, and then it came to fruition, like the DV. Um, and so, and then there's other stuff that I will say, in my opinion, I question how I don't want to call anybody a liar. Like, I don't want to use that word, but I question, and I'll just say the Costco story. I have a big question mark. And certain other things that are said that are not, you know, not in regards to those things that we already know this. This is stuff we already know. Um, it's just being regurgitated. And it does strike me odd too that some of it is exactly in how we discussed it on our channels. Like there's certain things that I've heard her say, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I said in my video of blah blah blah. Blah. And I'm sure other creators are thinking that as well. I'm sure I'm not the only one. So that's where I stand on that. And I mean, if that did happen at Costco with the little girl, and that happened out in the parking lot, by all means, whoever those viewers are, because they're obviously viewers, and I guess the reason why I have a big question mark with that is I don't understand how they would know what she would look like that well to, you know, to be able to approach her in that way. And that just for me then is a big red question mark, right? And yeah. So, but by all means, if there are viewers and that is so, you can email me and you don't even have to tell me who you are and just say, that did happen. A 7-year-old laying around on the Costco floor and then goes off to play somewhere in the Costco giant, huge Costco store. Yeah. So when you're getting those, to me, the way I am, when I'm getting those question marks and now my gut's screaming at me, which means my brain's talking to my gut. Yeah, something's off, right? It makes me have pause. Um, yeah, and I don't know what else to say about it except that um there I'm not getting I'm not hearing anything new. I'm not hearing anything new. And in fact, I don't think I've heard one thing that was new. Oh, actually there is. Something that was put out about a female, which I'm not even going to repeat or say who it was, that should have never, ever, ever have been put out about that individual. Or stuff about Hayden. I think we can all agree, and we've already talked about it before, that there's probably, well, most likely, we've heard that there's stuff on both sides of the family, right? We get it. We get it. Do we need the nitty gritties of it? I don't. I don't. Not at all. From regarding either side, I really don't. That's me. All right, and come over to the chat now. If you guys have any, I'll go back a slight bit. I can't go all the way back. I'll go back to and the other thing that bothers me about it as well, which right away, as soon as this all started, I was thinking, well, no, like person who is this star witness, which seems to be what's being portrayed, in my opinion. No, they wouldn't be out talking to the public like that. And again, everything she's saying is stuff that we already know. So no, I don't. I question that. That's another big question mark for me. This whole thing that her talking about being on a witness stand and I mean to be using the word Murder. Like, how does she know that? How does she know that? She's basically stating, there was murder, and she's going to be a witness in the trial, and like she's got it all figured out. No, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. And if that's the case, I'm pretty sure RCMP wouldn't want you doing what you're doing right now. Like that would not make sense. You guys are all intelligent enough to know that that does not make sense. Woman's warrior. No, but we have done it in a respectful, discreet, tactful way, and we have not traumatized people having discussion or offended half of the province, in my opinion. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yep. You can discuss issues. Darlene, you can discuss issues without being, oh, let me put myself on screen here. Actually, just let me take a drink first and then I'll. Sorry, I think I muted before I was finished there. I'm going to have a drink and then I'll come back on and we'll go through the comments. Um, yeah, Darlene, you can discuss issues without being rude, condescending, ignorant, and bullying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Every channel does things their own way. And remember, I mean, you can choose what channels to watch too, right? You don't have to stay, you know, every channel, there's people who don't care for my channel. Well, okay, that's okay. That's fine. I don't know what my husband's cooking, but boy, oh boy, it smells good. Okay, I just have to say that Costco stuff did not happen, in your opinion. Yeah, I got a big question mark. I got a big question mark regarding, that. All I want is justice for Jack and Lily. I think our CMP will show us so much info. It will blow our minds. Yeah. Yeah. And probably some of it we'll never know. We'll never know. So the case of Amber Kerwin here in Pictou County. So she was kidnapped and she was red roomed and had horrific things done to her before she was red roomed. Okay. And the courtroom was closed. And those people that were the jurors, I'm telling you, they kept that quiet. Like, I know people who, of course, we all know people who were on that jury. They've never, ever, ever talked about it. And some of them were traumatized and by what they heard. So some stuff we'll never know. We'll never know. And although it was closed to the public, the way they did allow it, some information to go out, there was, I don't know if it was only certain press were allowed to go in there or how it worked, but there was one particular guy who was allowed to put it out via TikTok. Or was it TikTok? I get confused with that stuff. But I watched it on that app, and he would be texting right quick and putting it out what was going on. But even he didn't put out certain information. So there's things I can see, like, if worse comes to worse, in this case, You know what I mean by that. And there's a trial. I can see it being much the same. It's not going to be open to the public, and whatever the press or media is putting out on, if they're allowed to do that again, like they did before with the Amber Kerwin case, it'll be the same. They're not going to put certain things out, in my opinion. She is really, I feel, taking a stand for Lilly&Jack, and they are who matters to me. Yeah. Are you talking about Belinda? Yeah, I think maybe that's who you're talking about. Bonnie? Maybe. Oh, or you're talking about Lady A. Um, she is, I feel, taking a stand for Lilly&Jack, and they are who matters to me. Yes, but that's what I'm saying. She's not doing anything different than all of what we have been doing, what you've been doing, what I've been doing. It's not anything new, is what I'm saying. It's a different person that we're hearing it, from her thoughts, right? And like that's why I'm saying regurgitate it. So it's everything that we already, if you've been here from the beginning, I'm sure you must be going, oh yes, I already knew that, I already knew that. It's all the same. But to me, she's like not doing anything different than the rest of us have been doing. Yeah, in my opinion. And but there's outside of that, there's some other stuff that's being said that I have like a big question mark. Like, I don't know if that really happened. Like, and I'll just use the Costco thing as an example. I'm not going to go into every single thing, but I think that sums it up in a nutshell. My opinion, it's to get DG off the hook. In my opinion, DG and JG are involved. Hmm, I don't know. And there are, I have to say, some things also that she had stated that to me were verbatim to what Darren has stated. Now, again, uh, I don't know if they've ever met or they know each other and have had deep discussions. But it's either that or again, it's just showing that it's based on what has been said on these channels, right? And him being on certain channels and saying those things because, yeah, to me, it's like a hodgepodge of everything. You're going to hear something that Darren said, something like I said. There's a couple of things I'm like, geez, that's like the words right out of my mouth. And and then you hear something else, and it's like, oh, geez, so and so said that, or that's the same as it. Like it's a hodgepodge of everything all mixed together, uh, with her opinion in there, like us, right? And we say in our opinions, right? If we're not talking about something that is fact that we know to be fact. Yeah. And then a small portion of what? Huh? That really happened at Costco? Really? Come on. Costco has cameras, yep. Hope Rcmp get that CCTV. And that's the thing. If you're gonna go on and on and on, I'm being threatened, I'm being threatened, I'm being threatened, and you got it all over Facebook and you got it all over everywhere and you keep saying it, and oh my god, I'm being threatened. Okay, and then something like that happens, and then no, I didn't call the police and I didn't get my camera out and get evidence. I don't care about that. This is about Lilly&Jack. It is. Like, it's that stuff, right? That just makes me the big question mark. Yeah, it is about Lilly&Jack, but I'm saying that whole, all she's been saying all along is about her life being threatened and this and that. And now I didn't hear the other, apparently one of the videos was deleted because it said some things it shouldn't have said. And where was I going with that? It said something about Oh, that Daniel and a couple other people where she thinks they were out by her house threatening her in a vehicle. Like, honestly, okay, with Daniel's charges and everything going on with him right now, I highly, highly, and no car, no license, or no, I guess he probably still has a license, but no vehicle. I don't think he was in Truro around Anita's place. I'd be shocked. But again, you can get videotape of that. You can report it to the police if this is all true. But, when she was asked that, um, she got a little upset. And it's like, well, no, you're the one that keeps saying you're being harassed, right? And being threatened. So if that's the case, there's cameras right there at Costco, and you can videotape this with your phone. So, then trying to switch that off and go, this is about Lilly&Jack. This isn't about me. Yeah, there's just some question marks there, guys. Yeah. So it seems some people also feel the same way. So it wasn't just me. Okay. She did say the RCMP told her to keep talking. Well, if she's saying that, then she's not a witness. She's not this big witness that's going to be going to court. And no, that's not how that works. They don't go, hey, our one of our witnesses, we're gonna need you down the road for this, what she, in her words, murder, um you know when this goes to court, and what we want you to do is go around and talk about this case as much as possible, please. Okay. No, I'm sorry, it's just not so. I watched it last night and the Costco story seemed very odd to me. My spidey senses went off. That's your brain talking to your gut. My spidey senses went off and I don't believe it for a second. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think there's something odd about that story. Magdalena, hello and welcome. Sky Painter, Sky Painter, and it's funny how M doesn't like to hear about personal stuff. Yet he's okay with her. Oh, Mike, when you say M, I think of Malaya. But yet he's okay with her going on and on. I was scolded by M for, oh, well, I don't want to go on about other channels and get involved in any of that stuff. But I do want to speak to Anita. But as far as people's channels, like I said last time, it's fine. You guys are discussing that in the chat. That's up to you guys. I don't care about that. But yeah, there is no way she can be a voice for a child when she has never met. Yes, true. Yeah. Still no proof. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Nothing to back up what's being said. But what does she need to back it up? It's just stuff that we already know. It's stuff that we already know. That's why I'm saying regurgitate it, because like we already know. Like we already know what happened to Malaya. Sunny discussed that, but she didn't sit there in detail and go, oh, she was blah, 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 by blah, 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 blah. And when Hayden was 14 and 15, he blah, blah. Like, but Sunny, in a proper way, discussed those topics in a very tactful way. She did. She did. Um, it's all one big headache. Uh-huh. Leo's list was new. No, no. Um, no. Shan and I touched on that. We didn't specifically say Leo's list, but yeah, we touched on the trafficking thing. Um, and the whole partner being used for sexual purposes. uh, and no, Shannon and I touched on it. Yep, yep. Mhm, mhm. Um, that it's a possibility that that could happen. And I don't, in my opinion, believe that Anita has the facts that that did happen. Again, I think she's regurgitating what we've already discussed. Shannon and I've discussed that more than once. Um, yeah. We even talked about where the men, uh, you know, will give the women something that knocks them out, and then and these are husbands. Like, one of the worst cases here in Canada happened right here in New Brunswick, right beside Nova Scotia, here in the Maritimes, and they were married for years, and then he was doing that to her when she was knocked out from what he gave her, and then he was selling the videos. So Shannon and I went through all of that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But, you know, yeah, you didn't hear the Costco story. You'll have to go to Mike D's and listen to it to grasp it. But I don't know. Yeah, if she went to Rcmp, then they have her statement, and she doesn't need to tell anyone else, as it's just trying to confuse us. Well, you just shouldn't be talking about it at all. And that's what I'm saying. Like, come on now. Come on. Like, I'm not going to be going around, hey, I'm going to be a witness in this case, and here's everything I know. Just, guys, come on now. Come on. Uh, we're not that gullible. That's the most important thing some people are missing here. And she's mentioned it in comments a couple of times that she's never met Lilly&Jack. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, I'm just going to read from here because we're going to run out of time, and I can read faster if I don't have to scroll. Um, Camilla, she has regurgitated what all of the other players have said. Yeah, and the same tone. Yeah, I agree. No one's place to put it out there. Yep. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And I know what you're talking about. Yes. Where can we go to hear Costco story? You go to Mike Demands and you watch the video from last night. Costco story is BS. Did anyone notice her voice from beginning to end? Soft to harsh. In my opinion, Costco story is what a con artist does. Putting out information that is part of a CAS file is actually illegal in Canada. Anyone noticed that A, special A. Anyone noticed that A never mentioned Jack's name? She mentioned Lily a few times. She said children, but I've never heard her saying Jack's name. Yep, I 100% picked up on that. Belinda Bleed. Anita's biggest fan is Anita. That's cute. Some are driven by money. Mr. Geddes vouchered for A, so I know it is all BS. I didn't know that. Yes, I noticed that. Magdalena says Ginger. Years ago, CAS took my brother-in-law off the street and adopted him out. Didn't find him till his adopted parents reached out. Oh. She's a vexation to my spirit. Hi, Callie. Thanks for being here. Um, Darlene, if she was going to be a witness, then the RCMP would shut her down. I agree. I agree. Uh, any defense lawyer would play her tapes and wham. Yeah, I agree. Um, I mean, this is not the first case of something that ever took place around here. You think there hasn't been other people in this community that were a witness, going to be a witness for other cases? Do you think they did that? No, because that's not what you do. Um, Chicken Whisper, thank you for being here. I see you in other chats, and I think, I wish Chicken would come see me. I just love that black hair. It's beautiful. Ah, Chicken Whisperer. It's so cute. She's got an agenda, and it's not Lilly&Jack. Did you hear her defending Janie? Yeah, yeah. And, something else I didn't like, or something I didn't care for, was hearing Linda being slighted a bit. I don't know if anybody else picked up on that. It struck me odd. Struck me odd. I don't understand what the heck is. Anyways, I don't want to get into. Okay, I'll stay out of that. Sky Painter, Chicken Whisper, so agree, big agenda. Yeah. It's been a couple of months for me. I don't like hypocrisy and lies. Yeah. Lovely to see you here, Magdalena. I won't believe she gave a statement till there is proof with the RCMP. Well, she gave a statement in May. She's not mentioned in any of the documents, guys. That's the other thing. Remember what's in those documents. Because there's things I picked up on. Well, number one, that. Number two, um, maybe she's not aware of the document. She thinks she would be, especially if she's been watching all the YouTubers. Um, there's some other stuff that she said, and I'm like, okay, well, the documents totally proves that that's not so. That's just not so. Um, like I said, there's some stuff that I'm like, oh, that's just no, that didn't happen. Um, and I did write them down as I was noting them, but of course with my memory. But there's certain things that she said, and it's like, no, that's not what the documents state. Like it's something to do with certain times of something. Sorry, but there is. Yeah, it will blow our minds when the truth comes out, and I do think there will be some shocked people. All I care is there is justice for Jack and Lily. I expect that we may hear the worst of the worst, and if we don't, then thank goodness for that. But um yeah, and like us creators, the group that was on the panel that time, like we had some conversations together, a group conversation. You could hear each other's voices, and I broke down in it because and I talked about that, you know, the worst possible scenario. And that I'm afraid of that, you know? but I'm certainly prepared that we could hear anything, right? And by the way, all the other creators, when I broke down and discussed it with them, they were so comforting and yeah. Well, guys, I would love to be able to get through the rest of your comments, but it's 5 to 6, and like I said, my company is coming, um, at 6. You guys are talking to each other anyways. Hi, Tracy, thank you for being here. MB's mother should pull up her big girl panties and start talking. Uh, she knows exactly what has happened or is part of it. That's it. That's in your opinion. I don't believe that. In my opinion, from everything I've gone through and from everything that I see and have gone through and read and from everything, I don't see that. I don't see that. All right, guys. Sue Oilers, thank you for being here. I don't know if I said that yet. I can't remember, and I apologize if I did. Oh, well, you're getting too highs. And somebody became a member. Spy Painter, thank you. And Liz, Nova Scotia. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just seeing these now. So we'll have to put on. I hear somebody coming up the stairs, probably telling me that company's coming. We'll put our happy, happy song on, our thank you song. And after that, I will say goodbye to you with love and positive vibes. Oh, listen, you gifted 5 as well. Thank you. So, thank you to all of you. April, Liz again, and Sky Painter, and Sammy. Thank you. Sammy Miami. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Thanks, everyone. Alrighty, guys. I will show the posters on the way out the door of all the missing posters I have and unsolved homicides. Unsolved homicide. And on the way out. And I will see you guys again sometime. And thank you all for being here. And just the facts, ma'am. Hello. You were listening on the TV, but had to grab my phone to say hi. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching. Yeah, so lots of love, lots of positive vibes to you all. And I will see you again. Okay? Bye.